Hey, Kell, how are you?
Good man, how are you?
Good, thanks, mate. Look, thank you very much for joining us today. So just very quickly, for anyone who doesn't know who Kell is and who Productivity Hub is, just quickly, if you want to introduce yourself and what you do.
Oh, mate, I'm this blockhead Australian mate that actually lives over in Thailand. Yeah, so Productivity Hub, we take a very different approach to using GHL. We actually, rather than tackle it from the marketing perspective, we tackle it from getting stuff done. So from a productivity perspective. So we always look at what are the price points, what is the activities, how do you actually deliver it to get to increase people's productivity, get some time and freedom so they can do what they want to do. So it's a very, very different philosophy. And it just gives me that, another point of difference than going to head with other, CRM providers. It's more of a productivity provider.
Beautiful, mate. And so what we're going to talk about today is how you've incorporated our service, myCRMSIM, into your service. And you've done something that we haven't really done, which has kind of gone to market and actually been selling it very successfully to your clients. So you're going to go through those steps with us in a moment. But first of all, so you actually were one of our beta testers as well. So just want thank you again for that, which we've done many times already. But you went through, you've been really helpful through the beta testing and the service. So what was it that you kind of saw in the service? Because when I showed it to you, you were like, oh my goodness, this is pretty amazing. What was it that you saw that you thought was going to be really beneficial?
Yeah, I think first of all, having an SMS service, like with what's been around in the past, it's just been too expensive really for a lot of accounts to be able to use, like the Twilio service and stuff like that. And what I seen is another, and again, look at it through my lens, another way in which we can actually increase productivity, increase open rates. So SMS, we've had, emails. There was that change that Google had back in February 2024, where things were going to spam, and it's still a problem, getting deliverables. But with SMS, I went, oh, this I could just see by doing that, it would have a massive impact, particularly on those people who are running events and or just trying to get people to turn up at their booked times. So you can send emails, but people might not open their email. They might only open their email once a day, where SMS, they carry it in their hand, so it goes ping and people answer it. That was the key for me. It was about how do you get the cut through and get into people's face without them feeling like you're getting bombarded. Everybody's getting stuff into their inbox, but not a lot of people getting it to their SMS. That was the key for me.
Perfect. And then so we went through some testing with you and with Wayne, one of your partners as well. You went through all the setup process and that, so pretty easy to set up. And that was part of our goal, was to make it really easy for everyone. And I
Yeah,
think,
so to say it was easy is an understatement. It was as a piece of cake. It was so simple. And so, not just for our point of view, like Wayne in my business is actually a bit of a tech genius sort of thing. So for him, lots of things like this are easy. For me, it's less easy, but I found it a piece of cake. But what was really cool was being able to roll it across to my team. So it was just a step by step, do this, this, and this, done. And I could give that to the team, and instantly the team could duplicate and get things set up. So I just had to concentrate on contacting people and selling it. And yeah, it just made it a piece of cake to be able to roll it out very simply.
Yeah, and so with that, that's kind of what brought us here, because you messaged me about, oh, how can I get access for my team, because they need to get in here so that they can start organizing this and setting up clients, because I can't remember what you said, but like you just sold quite a number basically to clients. And I was like, oh, how are you doing that? Because, and again, I've always told people this, like we have the technology, we've used Sims for a long time in our agency, but we never really sold it. We always just bundled it into the package because we just wanted to have an easy conversation with our client. And we just said, hey, this is our package, this is our program. It includes unlimited SMS. And that's all we did. Whereas you've gone down the route of, okay, we're going to sell this to clients as an unlimited SMS package. So can you walk us through kind of your steps? And very kindly, when I asked you, you agreed to come on here. So thank you very much for that, because I know there's a lot of people that were interested in this. But just walk us through, like, what's your steps in sort of talking to a client and how you frame it with them to actually the success rate you've had, which has been very high, to getting them to take on the service?
Well, I think this is basic. I call it sales 101. Stop selling the feature, sell the sizzle, sell the actual outcome. And so what I did is I said to people, number one is I do what I call a 10 by 10. All right. It's 10 people at a time, sell 10, communicate with 10, sell 10, communicate with 10. That was a very simple strategy. And that way we're not getting overwhelmed ourselves. All right. You're not getting this flood of people coming in and you're trying to, you get a bit, out of control with the whole process. So what we did is we looked at what are the benefits, exactly what I could see was the benefit of having an SMS, and that's what we sold. Would you like to increase the amount of people turning up at events? Would you like to increase the amount of people that turn up at the book time instead of, having to chase them down? So that's what we were selling is this easy marketing tool. And so what we done, we went to 10 people. We handpicked 10 people out of our sub accounts that do a lot of events. And we went to them and we said, hey, we've got this tool. This is going to be the benefit of it. Are you interested? 9 out of the 10 said yes within a heartbeat. All right. We also said that, having in Australia, we've got our calendar year and our financial year ends on the 30th of June. And so for the first, and this is just a really simple one, for the first 3, just to get it across the line, we wanted to make sure we got people using the thing. We gave them a little bit of a free trial. All right. So we gave them a 30-day free trial. They start paying as of the 1st of July, but that gave us a couple of people. They got in and started using it, gave us a bit of a review. We could use that as a testimony to get the next 7 people. And as we had to, those 3 people were very much, they used it from day one and went berserk with it. So the 10 people that we'd isolated, 3 sold the next 7. Actually, in fact, they sold the next 6. All right. Yeah. Because the 3 people gave us a review straight away. We'd approached 10, 9 out of the 10 said yes. All right. I mean, like instant yes, no, not having to go backwards and forwards. And it was not a sale. It was just literally, here it is, click here and we'll set it up for you. And we got 9 out of 10 done that. Now, we still haven't heard from that one. We're guessing that they're actually probably away on a holiday or they just haven't got the message. And we'll circle back to them. But as soon as we got that first 10, we got the yeses, we then got another 10. Who's the next 10 best? And we're just cherry picking into our sub accounts the ones that we know, will benefit from it immediately. And then the FOMO effect will take effect. They go, oh, geez, if I don't get on board with this, I'm going to miss out. So we've got that email going out today to what we call the FOMO effect of all the other sub accounts, using the stories from the first 10 to leverage it. Very simple. But what is also necessary, which is what I've always thought in my mind, is like we sell the platform because we sell other services. We don't sell it as a package or anything like that. We sell very differently. So we have a fairly low market sale. Okay. But what we were able to do is across the board, we were able to increase our prices moving forward so that now our top price that we used to sell for was $199. We're now at $249. All right, with the SMS. Now, since doing this, our sales for new clients been able to say, hey, we've got an unlimited everything package at $249. All right, instantly now, where we used to sell our cheaper package, it was not where we started at $99, $130, $199. Now our cheapest package is $129 to $249. So we'll literally be able to, we move the prices up across the board and put the SMS into it. And they could see the value. So those people who were talking to us only 2 weeks ago, all right, are going, your prices have gone up. Yeah, but now you get SMS included with unlimited. Oh, that's worth it. And the closeout rate, it's quite interesting. Closeout rate at the higher point is interesting because it used to be we used to sell a lot of the low-end packages. People were doing it cheap. Now it's completely flipped. So now we're selling the higher end packages time and time again.
Perfect. So added revenue to the business model as well. And
absolutely.
I think that's really interesting. That 10 by 10, I think that's probably good for a lot of people that are watching this to like laser in and focus. I think that's a message I took from that first part there. It's like, okay, we're just focusing on 10 people for now. We'll do
Yeah.
these 10 people and then we'll move on. So
Mm.
I guess for you guys, you got that very quickly. But if you've got 10 people to deal with, it's just like, okay, we'll just focus on these 10 people because it is a common thing, especially with a lot of agency owners and new products and new shiny syndrome object. We can get overwhelmed. We can all be guilty of that. But I think that lasering in is really important.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, so you mentioned this to me before, and I hope you don't mind, you'll share this too. The way that you framed it to people about the phone. So you've mentioned now you've kind of changed it and you've bundled in the cost in.
Yep.
But you framed it in a really good way to people that they still need a phone and they need a SIM card.
Mhm.
And do you want to just explain how
Yeah.
you've done that? I don't want to take that away because I think
Yeah,
this is
no,
so
look,
simple. It's so simple. It's just kind of genius at the end of the day.
yeah, it was. And I looked at it, I went, well, yeah, some people are going to get, I say this respectfully, I call it maggoty. They can't afford to do too much and you want to have that option. And then some people just can't be bothered. All right, with doing the mucking around. So if they can't be bothered to run off and get their own phone and SIM card, you do it for them, but you make sure you charge accordingly. All right. So for example, what we've done is we've actually made a list of every SIM card in the countries that we're going to. We've made a list of all the SIM cards, the potential SIM cards, but we're sort of like recommended what I would call the mainstream three. So in Australia, that's Telstra, Optus, and Vodafone, for instance, and it's different in other countries. So say, here's your main three, but here's all your discounted sort of SIM cards. This is what they cost. Here's the link to the website. So you can go off and get it. So I've made it easy for them to do that, to be able to order their SIM card. And when you're there, here's a couple of links to a couple of phone providers that you can get a cheap phone from, okay? So you can go and do that, or if you want us to do it, we'll do it. And so obviously we've got our preferred provider, but we basically charge them double. All right. So a SIM card, for instance, you can get them starting from about $15 to $17. We charge $40. All right. Because we're going to pay for the SIM card. And when it comes to the phone, all right, you can get them for around about $100 in Australia. We charge them $200 to handle a bit of handling fee, but we actually will then get the phone, load it up, get the SIM card in it, get it all operational, then we'll post it to them. So there's a bit of handling in that. And so we've basically said, we'll do it all for you, or you can do it yourself. Which one do you want? One is I think we priced it at $400, or this one is do it yourself. It'll probably cost you about $150. All right, for the first month, and then it's just a SIM card from then on. Really simple. I would say we've only had one person say, hey, go and buy the phone and the SIM for me. So it's worth it, like it doesn't sound like a lot, but we literally plug the phone in, put it on the desk and forget about it. It just stays there. All right. Yeah. Now you don't want to do that probably for a couple of hundred or a couple of thousand. I can imagine this room full of phones, but it just gives you that, so one in it's about 15 to 20 have said, yes, do that. Yep. But eventually what we'll probably do in our back of our mind is we'll eventually probably go, let's just send it to them. And we don't have to worry about it. That's what we'll do eventually. But we'll still keep on paying for the SIM, and we make a little bit of profit out of the SIM. And it's a fairly simple automation.
Yeah, I thought when you explained it that way, I thought it's so simple, because people do like that. You go, yeah, cool, we'll do it for you. This is the price. Like, this is what it will cost. This is a phone. It'll cost you $100. This is a SIM card. It'll cost you, $10 to $15. So you can either go and buy it yourself, and it will cost you, $115, or pay us, $250, $300. Just very upfront to people, and they go, oh, I don't want to pay double. I could go and do that myself. And then they're just happy, like they're really happy to go and do that themselves.
Yeah.
Super.
It took away, and we made the gap big enough that they go either, ouch, I can't afford to pay that, so I'll do it that way. Or what it also done, is identify the people who are about getting stuff done. And so for future reference, we've got that noted in the CRM now, that these people prefer us to do the thing for them. And so when we roll out the next thing, we can talk to them in that manner. All right. So, so it allows us, because we've got quite a few other different products that are coming through, that allows us to go, hey, do you want to do it the easy way like you did last time?
Yep.
All right. So now you can refer to that, or do you want to, or do you want to take it on yourself and actually go through these 25 steps?
So simple. So would you say that doing it that way, because that's something that, people talk to me about, they go, oh, I'm not sure that I could scale this system. It's not really feasible for me to have, 20, 30, 40, 50 phones sitting on my desk. I'm like, well, I spoke to another one of our clients yesterday. He's doing it a bit of a different way, but all the clients have got their phones. You're doing it another different way, but still the clients are getting their phones. So do you see the physical phone as being a barrier to scale?
No, absolutely not. In actual fact, I understanding a little bit of the technology and the telecoms route. When you get a problem with a phone, all right, or an online system like a telco, voice over IP, or whatever it might be, it's generally a pain in the neck to try and get those things fixed. But if you've got a physical phone, if it's got service, all right, it's got service. It's a SIM card is actually probably the most reliable system there is, because you can just look at it and go, yep, it's out of service, and you can then have a look to see if Optus or whoever it is you've got connected with has got a tower problem. But it hasn't got a tower problem. It's either you haven't paid the bill, or it's turned off. There's not much else that can go wrong. But when you get into the other side of things, it can be a real challenge to try and work out what is actually going on here.
Yeah, you haven't paid the bill. And so far, that is the one problem that we've had from someone where they couldn't send SMSs, and they're like, oh, it's not working. We said, can you send us SMS from the phone just normally? And they said yes. And then we connected to the phone remotely using a remote application and tried it and couldn't, and then found out they hadn't paid their bill. So so paying the bill, exactly, you're right. It's just very simple to do. And at the end of the day, client doesn't have to do anything. Once it's set up, like pick it up, pop it down on the desk next to you, and it's just like a modem, effectively. Just keep it turned on to modem, sits there, ticks away.
Yeah, and look, and there's a whole bunch of other benefits from that as well. That's, and I know you're looking at other sorts of avenues and ways to be able to use that technology, but having a phone, like for me personally, like I carry a mobile phone with me wherever I go, but I like to have some time out, and so you can still use that phone for having your incoming phone calls if you really wanted to as well. Like, it's just, there's so many other little side benefits to having the phone, the physical phone with you. I just think it's a no-brainer myself.
Yeah, and it does make it easy too. I'll say this to people, because that way, this is another question that people have about, is what do we do? It's SMSs. What if someone calls the phone? How do we forward it on? So we have steps for that if you want to forward the phone numbers on and stuff. But yeah, if they've got the phone and it's sitting next to them on a desk and it rings, just hello.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
And it's not, and that's not going to affect the SMS system. You can still be talking on it, and the SMS is still going to be happening in the background. Yep. So you now got another device. So I've had a couple of people push back with different things. Oh, gee whiz, I've got to have another phone. And in actual fact, one of them, I said, I reckon you probably got a half a dozen in your drawer somewhere, which most people have. They got an old smartphone, with all the different plans that come up, and they go, oh, I never thought about that. So now they're only up after $20.
Yep.
To go and get a SIM card, and they can trot off down to the local 7-Eleven or supermarket and get a SIM card, and they'll be set up in a couple of seconds. So
super easy. So, mate, what would you say to anyone who's sort of thinking about it now?
I say it's all mindset. This is different. Yes, it's different, but think of the benefit. Like, you've got to think of that benefit. I'm looking forward to the next events that I'm running, because I'll actually ramp up my SMS sending myself. But just give it a crack. Like, I know there's a guy by the name of Michael Dewey's that I've been talking with. His open rate of SMS is in the 95 or 97%.
97%, I think. Yeah.
97%. Like, if you get above 30 in an email, you're doing pretty bloody well. But 97% of SMSs get open, and that's pretty much across the board, because people are not, adverse to it. So, just give it a freaking crack. It's not a big investment to do this thing. And if you've got doubts, like, you've got your nice little packages, like your $97 package for a couple of sub accounts, just get it for yourself as an agency. Get it for yourself to run your own platform. That's cheaper than going to Twilio by itself.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
for
we've
your
got,
own system.
yeah, we did the cost comparisons against Twilio for the different countries, and
Yeah.
yeah, anywhere, well, even in the US, what we can send through our system, if you compare it to Twilio, you're going to save hundreds, if not a few
Yeah.
$1,000s a month. It's crazy.
Yeah. So if you're just looking literally just to do it for yourself through your own sub account for your agency, that will save you money, but it will also it'll help you overcome it. If there's any mental barriers about, oh, will it work with a sim and how hard it is and all it, like for $100, like gee whiz, guys, like
Yeah.
it's not a big investment, and it will save you that in the first month, you know.
What's that? And I keep, there's multiple benefits we talk about. And I think, like I say, it's a new way of thinking that people are not used to. They're used to like Twilio, and okay, we've got 156 characters. How many SMS, how many words can I fit in here to get that sent out? So you don't have to worry about that anymore. You can just send casual, easy conversational flow of text. You don't have to worry about A2P. And something that happened the other day with a client who's just come over to us, because they were running their accounts through Twilio, and they had a client, and their surname was Blunt. I think their name was like Emily Blunt or Mary Blunt, or well, no, not Mary Blunt. Anyway, I know I'm thinking that, but yeah, Blunt was their surname, and Blunt is associated with marijuana, right? So
Okay.
their account got flagged and cancelled by Twilio because it had her name, her surname, in an SMS. So they cancelled their account, and it's the person's name. So, you know, you don't have to worry about all those things as well. So there's a lot of benefits to sort of the freedom of being able to use an SMS, and not using it unwisely. You're not going to be out there spamming people, but using it as you should do, legitimately, to contact and work with your clients and leads.
Yeah. I honestly, to this day, have not seen a downside yet. It has been all upside to using the system. Yeah. I've just, like even as I said, like the A2P or, the regulatory bundle that we've got in Australia, like all that sort of process. If people go, oh, gee, I've got to run down the street and get a phone or a SIM card. Mate, it's a hell of a lot harder to get A2P or get your regularly bundle and start to get all your different documentation and then get knocked back and take another couple of days. It can take, I've seen people taking weeks to get an SMS set up with Twilio, and the amount of heartache compared to walk down the shop, come back, 15 minutes later, you set up and going, done. There's no approval rate. I would say this, and one of our customers went and got a personal SIM card through a like a wholesale company. The company was called ASIM. All right. Now, nothing against the company itself, ASIM, but they got a personal account. They didn't get a business account. I would, if I was given a tip, get a business, get register your business. You need it that way for taxation purposes, any rate. But it just takes you that extra quality, and the network itself will not have any problems with you sending copious amounts of SMSs.
Cool, mate. Well, thank you, mate. So if you want to tell people where you are and where they can find you, because I know that you've got some pretty cool products for people in the GHL space, and certainly something coming out soon. So do you want to, well, you can talk about that briefly, and then tell people where they can come and find you and what you're doing as well, because you've got some cool stuff yourself for.
Yeah, so we like you, mate. You've actually you found an itch that all the GHLers want, and you've scratched it, and you've scratched it beautifully. The other one that's happening at the moment is Stripe is out there causing all sorts of challenges. I've seen something just the other day where Stripe is literally starting to close down marketing agencies using their service, and that's a real thing. So Stripe is a challenge. So we've come up with an alternative way, an alternative gateway that bypasses a lot of the what would be the retailer elections. So a Stripe and stuff like that, or what they call a retailer, right? But there's multiple levels in the system from Fiserv, like the actual gateways themselves. So we've got a new product that we're doing in partnership, so we can actually now come down the chain, which becomes cheaper, becomes easier, and you're not going to have the fear of Stripe or anybody turning around in 5 minutes time and going, we don't want to service you, and close your business down, which has happened quite a few GHLers out there at the moment. you know, they've had their Stripe taken away. So that's one of the things we're doing. We've got an SOP software that we've got now. It's about to go to beta testing. Very, very powerful. It was actually won a couple of awards and got a fair bit of government sponsorship to be able to get the thing built. So they're pretty excited about us launching that out very shortly. And a couple of other things that are coming along. But if you want to hear more about them, GHL Support Hub. All right, GHL Support Hub, which is a Facebook page or a Facebook group. So if you just type in there, GHL Support Hub, 3 different words in Facebook, you'll be able to get us, jump in there. It's open to either an agency or a sub account. It doesn't matter what you are. All right, so they can all jump in there, and that's where the conversation goes. Now, this is not the typical funnel where I'm out there flogging you to death. I had a couple of people saying, "Oh, you're just trying to get me into your funnel." Not what it's about. It's literally about, hey, here's a service. It's up to you if you want it. You know, if you want it, they can take the next step from there if they want, or they can just listen and find out about it. But GHL just announced, Sean Clark just announced that they've actually got Razor Pay, which is an Indian company. It's now working, and any day now we're expecting the APIs to be open for the SaaS configurator. That's the key one for us.
Perfect, mate. We'll try and, I don't know where this video will be or where people are watching it, but we'll try and put a link in the description there or there somewhere so you can come and find your GHL Support Hub. Mate, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for thinking of the way that you've sold this and kind of educating me as well on some of the possibilities there and the way that you can actually frame this to clients. So thank you very much, mate. Thank you for your time.
Anytime, buddy.